in my next video about installing Innovator. This video is all about bug fixing. To remind you what we did in the last video, we have installed SQL Microsoft Server Express, installed Server Management Studio, of course installed our RS Innovator, and so far we have not installed the ASP.NET Core Runtime and also not this, what was it, .NET Framework 4.7.2, so these two are still pending. But I want to do some first tests of my live instance first. So let's see if we can access our Innovator. If I click my address, of course, I get an error message. This time it's HTTP error 503, service is not available. And let's immediately make a second test if our local host works at all. And if you can see here, not even my IIS starting page appears, so we definitely have some kind of problem with IIS and not necessarily with Innovator. So let's check what our IIS is doing. Okay, when we now open up IIS, you can see in my sites section I have a couple of new sites for my Innovator, but these are not of interest right now. I'm more interested in my application pools, and here we can see these two, RS Innovator app pool and the default app pool, are not started. So let's make a simple test first. Just let them start up and see if we have any better result. So let's check again if we can open localhost. Still doesn't work. Let's go back to IIS. My default app pool crashed again. So this one, there is definitely another bug that forces my default app pool to crash. I luckily already have opened my event monitor to see if we have some kind of useful hints. Of course, I have a little bit prepared this video to keep things short. So here we have an error message that my config file is not a well-formed XML document, and we have some trouble with this config file in my inetpub folder. And this is actually a bug caused by a Windows update, the previous one. And when we look in the internet for some bug fixing, it recommends us to delete or to remove this temporary folder with app pools. And this is what I do right now. Just let's take a look. Here we have the C drive, inetpub temp folder. So this bug fix recommends us to delete this folder, and I will use the command line, how does it call it in English? The command line commands as recommended in this tip. So just let's type this one. Okay, then remove, maybe I can copy paste it. No. Let's remove the directory. And it's gone. And then let's net start v3 w3, not v3. English language is not so easy. Okay, and you see right now its app pools folder reappears, and I hope it now repaired itself. Let's just restart IIS, or let's make a direct test of localhost. Again, not working. Let's start IIS again. Application pool, oh now all of this. Let's first start the default app pools. Okay, I found it, and this one is a little bit tricky. As you can see in my task manager, my web server service is not started, and when I try to start it, it tries to activate this Windows WAS service, but this one also fails. And when I now go to my event monitor to see why this service doesn't start up, it tells me in this error message that my application host config contains a section called system.web, which he is unable to read. And the solution for this one, this is a solution I used in my last Innovator installations. I'm not sure if this one is an official recommended solution, but it worked out for me in the past. So I go to my Windows Server, where it is, to my C drive, to Windows, System 32, to inet config. Now let's speed it up. inet server config. Yes, I want, and here we have this application host config, which I now modify. And he tells me here that in line 1208 1208 contains this section, system web. And my solution, I'm not sure, I have to repeat, I'm not sure if this is the right solution. I just know that this one is a solution that works. So I now click save, and then instantly I should be able to restart my service. Yep, it worked perfect. Ha. I have not tried it before, I just tried it now for the video, but I was so confident about the solution. Then let's see if our pools instantly started up. Look at this. This is not scripted, they were all dead a couple of seconds ago. And now the final test, localhost. Yeah, new error message, that's great. It's a different error message, it's a great result. And let's see if our Innovator works. It also doesn't work, but we have a new error message, so let's move on. How to fix error 524 internal server error. In the text he describes is that there is an ASP.NET setting detected that doesn't apply to the integrated managed pipeline mode, and he gives us a nice little hint here with this most likely causes something wrong with impersonation, and this one can be fixed quite easily. So right now let's see how our Innovator works at the moment. When I go to localhost, and yeah, I get this error message. And when I now go to OpenIIS and choose my default website and my Innovator installation, then I have to go to authentication. And here we can see that the ASP.NET impersonation is activated, and I simply deactivate it. And let's try again. Okay. Looks much better now. And it doesn't work. There's always something. Now here we have our next error message. OAuth server error 500. For fixing the OAuth server error 500 error message, we have to install the .NET hosting bundle 218. And here we have to pay attention because I actually made a mistake. I downloaded the wrong package. So when you look at the download page where you get this 218.ASP.NET Core runtime, you have to pay attention that you download the hosting bundle, which will give you this file, server hosting, and not this. I previously downloaded this file, this x64 version, and this one don't work. So you really have to pay attention that you download and install the hosting bundle. Let's do it. Okay, installation completed. Then let's see if we have a better result now. And now we have an error 502 bad gateway. Okay, at least a different error message. Next error is a OAuth server 502 bad gateway, and this one is caused by a missing Visual C++ redistributable package, and it's important because it's a version from 2015. I have checked my PC and I have all kinds of redistributable packages available. Of course, 2015 is missing, so let's see to change this one and install the missing piece. And open it up. I agree. And it fails. Okay, short update. It wasn't possible for me to install the Visual C++ 2015 redistributable, but I managed to install this combined version, which included this 3 years. And here you can see I have downloaded it and I have already installed it. And I will now restart my PC, and then we can check if our error 502 bad gateway is finally removed. Welcome back. Now it's a moment of truth. Let's see what happens if we now start our innovator SP9. First result. Okay, we were able to open this main starting page without any additional error message. And just to wrap things up, I had installed this .NET hosting bundle and the Visual Studio redistributable, but it seemed that it wasn't necessary to install this Microsoft .NET Framework 4.7.2. And actually, it wouldn't have been possible for me to install this .NET Framework. As you may remember, it's mentioned in the installation guides that you really need this 4.7.2 .NET Framework. But in my case, I wasn't even able to install this one because my Windows complains that, oh, you already have one, don't use it. So in my case, the installation guide said I had to do it, but right now it seems to work without this one. Just the redistributable was important, and the .NET hosting bundle, the correct one, not the ones that I've installed first. And this will give us a slide as a nice, beautiful result. And by default, first time login, you can use one of the default accounts. For example, root and innovator. We will talk about the default accounts in another video. Right now I just would be happy if I can log in. Of course I can't, because what we have also seen in my first video about installation, I have not requested a license key yet, and this is exactly what is complaining right now. So I will get myself a license key and then I will see you later. I have received my license key and now we'll add it to the config file so we get rid of the license key error message. And this one is pretty easy. Of course, I already have received my license key via email, and then I go to my Innovator installation, so errors, Innovator 12, and here we have an Innovator server config XML, which we open with some text editor. And here you can see I have an empty license key, and I will right now just disable this one. Always pay attention not to make any bug in this file. For example, if you do something like this, like setting uncomment in a wrong way, then you will corrupt your file and your Innovator will not work anymore. And where is my license key? I will right now, just for this video, add a fake license key. just not to show critical information is the right way to do it. There is always something. So now, when I try to log in, after I have added my license, at least my license error message is gone, but nothing happens. So I checked my SQL Server Management Studio and tried to connect, and it's complete silence. Okay, got it. I'm not sure why, but during all of the configuration I did in the last minutes, at some moment my SQL Express server was disabled. It was working before, but now you can see status is all not active. So I will try just to restart my SQL server. I hope it works. Okay, seems to run now. Let's see if we can connect now. Looks much better. Then we can instantly try again to log into our RS Innovator. Localhost. Root. Innovator. Again, nothing. It works. It was just a little bit slow. But my installation should not be a reference for speed, because I really don't have a real powerful server. So it is just my private PC. It's already around, I think 7 years old. It was quite powerful 7 years ago. But right now, well, it's pretty outdated. And also when you first time log in an Innovator, things can take some time. But hey, this looks good. When you wonder why I always get this warning message about the Firefox version and that it's not supported, the best solution for fixing this one is just to tick this checkbox and click continue. Aras somehow insists or somehow wants you to use as a very specific Firefox version, because according to their opinion, only this specific Firefox ESR version works reliable. But you know, I'm using Innovator and Firefox for many years now, and I never have seen trouble with Firefox when you just use a regular version. That is, it doesn't matter. In the past, I think in Innovator 11, this was a bigger problem, but right now, this is your solution. Just tick the checkbox, continue, and forget about it. Let's talk about other bugs that can occur when you start your Innovator with your address and you don't get the login screen. As you can see here, if you only get a white screen, just white, nothing else, just a white screen, then one tip you can do is always to check the browser console if there is if you can find some hints there that might help you. And one tip that somehow mysteriously many people has, also it's a little bit embarrassing, check your clock. Really, especially when you have a separate server, and try to connect to your Innovator from your client PC to your server. Pay attention that the time or the clock used on your server and used on your client share the same time. Because when the timing between your client and server is not the same, Innovator might give you a login token, a working login token, but this token might be valid for a time in the future or in the past. So when your token expired, nothing happened, and Innovator may try to give you a new token, but of course, as long as your server and client time doesn't match, you will never be able to log in. So one simple tip, check the server timing, that it's right. Finally, we should not forget the troubleshooting guide that is mentioned in the installation guide. The troubleshooting guide covers a couple of error messages that I have never seen, but maybe you see them. So one is an HTTP error 521. Don't mix things up. In my installation process, I did a bug fix for 524, so something completely different. But here it gives you some tips to resolve this one. And we also have a tip for Aero 501. Yeah, things seems to be pretty helpful. It's really funny. They cover stuff that nobody normally faces. What kind of installation are they doing? They are so lucky people. Never see any bugs. So after we finally succeeded to install Ana Innovator and fix most of the bugs that can appear, my next video will give you a small guided tour about what actually had happened during the installation. So see you in the next video.